From the BG Podcast Network studios, this is your Paulding County News Podcast, bringing our stories to life with news, events, and what we're talking about in Paulding County. Like, follow, and subscribe to hear the latest news from the Paulding County News Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And here's what you're talking about.
Welcome to your Paulding County News Podcast. I'm Melissa Carter along with Doug Harding. Angela Reedy O'Connor is going to join us to talk about her bid for state court judge. But first, let's take a look at our top stories. A Dallas man has been sentenced to 10 years in prison for stalking his former girlfriend and her 13-year-old son. 43-year-old Michael Strong, already serving time for drug-related charges, was found guilty of aggravated stalking and disorderly conduct stemming from the incident in October of 2020. Now, prior to seeking legal protection, the victim endured months of escalating abuse, including fits of rage, property damage, and physical assault. Despite their fear, both the victim and her son testified against Strong, detailing a pattern of violence that left them living in constant fear. This from BrightGram.
More details have emerged in the shooting that killed an 11-year-old boy in Paulding County. According to the Paulding County Sheriff's Office, deputies responded to a shooting at a residence on Ruth Way last week. The bullet that killed Xander Watley passed through glass and 2 sheetrocks. Xander's stepfather, William Dorsey, recounted the terrifying moment, saying he heard someone banging on the door before gunshots rang out. Tragically, Xander was struck in the side while trying to seek safety up the stairs. Xander was rushed to the hospital but succumbed to his injuries. No arrests have been made. This from WTSP.
Teen retailer Rue 21 is facing bankruptcy for the third time, leading to the closure of all 540 stores, including the one in Hiram. Despite efforts to sell the business, liquidation seems the most viable option, according to court documents. Founded 44 years ago, and I didn't know they were that old, Rue 21 aimed to make fashion fun and accessible, but financial woes have forced drastic measures. This from The Patch.
Looking at your weather, a chance of rain early today, then partly sunny. We'll have highs of 85 in Hiram and also in Dallas. Tomorrow, we're going to have more rain, high of 82 in Hiram and Dallas. And then Friday, going to be cooling off with rain early. We'll have highs in Hiram of Dallas of just 73.
Now it is going to cool off, but it might be a little nice. It's starting to get humid out there, Doug. It's okay, but I'm already like, oh, the moisture in the air is already here. And
I'm running my dehumidifier in my house all the time, and boys, that's sucking up a lot of water.
I'm telling you, it's here we come. I mean, be careful what you ask for.
Learn how to succeed and win big in life, plus much, much more. Listen to the Red Hot Read podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
Life's a constant hustle, and at Credit Union of Georgia, our focus is crystal clear. It's all about you. Juggling a million things? We get it. That's why we're committed to providing the best service imaginable. We're not just your credit union, we're your financial allies. Knowledge is our power, from crafting basic budget plans to navigating the local home buying scene. Questions popping up? We've got you covered with fast, friendly answers. Because we want you to spend more time living your life. Imagine a financial institution that truly cares. That's Credit Union of Georgia inviting you to join us. If you live, work in Bartow, Cherokee, Cobb, Dawson, Paulding, Pickens, or Union County, we want you as a member of Credit Union of Georgia family. Because here, you're not just a member, you're part of a community that cares. Ready to experience banking that revolves around you? Call us at 678-486-1111 or visit cuofga.org. Credit Union of Georgia. Your financial journey, our priority.
Are you looking for a part-time or a full-time job that allows you to work from home and a schedule that allows you to get your kids to the ball game, church activities, cheerleading, and all other places a busy family needs? The Paulding County News Podcast is looking for a people person, a local account executive who can help our podcast grow. You'll call on local and regional businesses selling the podcast, adding to our list of great sponsors. Earn extra money and meet new people all over the county. Call BG Ad Group today at 770-874-3200 and ask for Darren.
We're back with more of your Paulding County News Podcast.
From WSB's Facebook page, earlier told you about a domestic violence story. Unfortunately, we have another one. A Georgia man is currently serving a sentence for his 5th conviction of stalking his ex-girlfriend. 5th. But when he gets out this time, he'll be banned from the state. Now, Kelly Allen said that's not going to work for him. It's sad that his ex had to go through this, and I pray that nothing happens to her, but he needs something else than just being banned from Georgia. Kimmy Jones says, so apparently he doesn't follow instructions. If he did, he would not have had 5 convictions for the same crime, so now he has to leave the state. Do you really think he's going to actually follow instructions and leave the state of Georgia? Yeah, he might, but not without trying to unlive his ex first. Faye Kajak says, I hope while he's locked up for 15 years, she moves because he's doing that and he's not going to stop. Protect her and that child at all costs. And Matt Coley says, this won't stop him. He'll end up murdering her before it's over. I hope I'm wrong, but it never ends well for the victim. Hopefully she takes self-defense classes or firearms training. Now, Faye earlier when she said, she hopes he gets locked up, right? He's not getting locked up. Again, he's being barred. But this is the problem that we have, is the fact that here's this woman, 5 convictions this guy has, and he's not being severely punished for this. And she's living in constant fear. And that she's not the only one that's had to go through this.
No. This is a constant thing you hear all the time in the news. And you know what? There needs to be some sort of law dealing with this, but there's not. And so a lot of times, I don't know, this ends up tragically. I hope this is not the case, though.
I agree. I mean, we throw people in jail for much lesser crimes.
Yep.
According to me, I think violence against women has to be taken seriously. Well, from the What's Happening in Paulding County Facebook page, Summer Ray posted, I am still shocked at all the people that think our police department owes them anything. Just be thankful for them for once. I also can't get over the nurse getting mad because she thinks police are mechanics. Okay. Now, Doug, I tried to find the details of this backstory, and so I want to give our number out because we need to know what's going on, and that is 404-997-8655. You can always call us about anything and leave your comments on any story we have. Again, 404-997-8655. What happened? Okay, what happened with this nurse in the car? I'm piecing the details because we're going to talk about the comments people had.
Okay.
But it seems that this nurse may have had mechanical issues with her car, maybe, and asked the cops for help, and apparently they laughed at her. Now, that's me interpreting these things, but I need details because that's not we don't have evidence to suggest that. Now, Christy KB says you don't have to be a mechanic to be a decent human being. They could have helped her instead of laughing at the situation. Protect and serve the community is what they're for. And most of them are arrogant, especially the City of Dallas police officers who she is referring to. Okay, so now we have the details. It was City of Dallas police.
Okay.
John Hayden said, I had a car breakdown near north of 285 back in the winter at night when it was 20 degrees. I never thought to ask for a policeman's assistance. I never thought to ask anyone for assistance. I called a tow truck. And then Taylor Stansel says, Dallas PD gave my wife a ticket for stopping in front of the Mexican restaurant at Kroger to pick my daughters up. Okay, now Taylor's still mad about this and using this to let us know that the girls walked out of the restaurant, got in the car before the officers could even write the ticket. She was only there for less than a minute, and he still wrote the ticket. She says she's not grateful for them. I don't know if it applies here, but anyway. Stephen Beatty, she just wanted to vent about the time she got the ticket, right? Stephen Beatty said, they have assisted me more times than written me a ticket. I mean, plenty of people appreciate our police officers, but apparently the Dallas Police Department did something, laughed at somebody, and I want to know what happened. 404-997-8655. And she was a nurse, a helpless nurse. There's a lot of feedback on this story.
There is a ton more to what's going on with this story.
Yeah, and I want to know.
If the police are laughing at her, was it a minor mechanical thing that anybody could fix, or was her car funny looking or something like that? Or was she just being unintentionally hilarious? Who knows?
Right, because the thing is, I think that if you're in trouble in any way, even if it's an error, it should be okay to call the police department, right? Anyway,
but I have a suggestion for people.
Yes.
I am a AAA member. It costs like $100 a year. AAA comes to your house or wherever your car is, and they are so timely, easy, friendly. Because I had an experience just a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Car troubles are stressing. They were great. So $100 a year, that's all it is.
Yeah, well, similar if you have a certain car that has their own system where you can press the button. I've had those in the past, and same thing. So it's worth the money so that when you're stuck, you know who to call. All right. Well, in your weird story of the day, it's a surprising turn of events for a cat named Galena, who embarked on an unintentional adventure after sneaking into an Amazon return box in Utah. If you don't own cats, cats love boxes. They love anything like suitcases, boxes, dresser drawers. Like they love to climb into things, right? So apparently that's what happened here. This feline explorer traveled after jumping into this Amazon return box an astonishing 650 miles undetected before being discovered in California 6 days later. I can't believe Galena made it, right? Wow. And I can't believe when you picked up the box. And I guess there was movement in that box before you sent it. But anyway, thanks to the intervention of a keen-eyed Amazon worker, Galena was returned safe. Her owner expressed relief at her return, emphasizing the importance of thoroughly checking return packages. This from the patch. A live animal in a box, you don't figure out that the cat's in there?
And 6 days in there? Meow. Dehydration, anyone?
Meow. Meow. I mean, that probably would give it away, too. Meow.
What's happening in Paulding County? We've got you covered.
Here's some events to get you out of the house. Beginning Friday at 10 a.m., an indoor yard sale at Mount Nebo Methodist Church in Dallas. Friday at 4 o'clock, Mom's Night Out in downtown Dallas. Dueling Pianos is going on at the Pizza Shack in Dallas Friday starting at 8 o'clock. And finally, May 27th, beginning at 11 a.m., the Paulding County Memorial Day ceremony at Veterans Park in Dallas.
Coming up next is my interview with Angela Reedy O'Connor. She is running for state court judge. She'll talk about the cases she sees, plus her efforts to lower the DUI rates in Paulding County. That's coming up next.
Whether you're new to church, have been a Christian for many years, or looking for a fresh start, you're welcome at New Season Church. New Season is a place where people can believe in God, belong to a family of believers, and become fully devoted followers. We exist so that people far from God may experience life in Christ and become fully engaged followers. Join us for one of our 2 Sunday services, 9 or 11 a.m.
Hi, this is Pastor Steve Flockhart. Whether you're new to the Paulding community or have been here since the day you were born, New Season Church is a place where all are welcome. From our exciting children and student ministries to our engaging Bible studies and small groups and events, I promise New Season Church has a place for you.
New Season Church, just off Highway 278 at 4457 Atlanta Highway in Hiram. We exist so that people far from God may experience life in Christ and become fully engaged followers. New Season looks forward to seeing your entire family this Sunday, and feel free to check us out online at newseason.cc. We believe what comes into our minds when we think about God is the most important thing about us. We look forward to seeing you Sunday at 9 or 11 a.m. at New Season Church in Hiram. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Paulding County News Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
All of our feature interview pieces here on the Paulding County News Podcast are presented by Credit Union of Georgia.
Let's meet some of the interesting people in our neighborhood.
We have Angela Reedy O'Connor, who is with us, who is running for state court judge. I will call you Judge O'Connor because you earned that title. But thank you for joining the podcast.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
This is not a re-election because you were appointed by Governor Kemp to this position. So this is actually your first campaign to be elected to this position, correct?
That's right. This is my first election cycle, yes.
I know a lot of people who aren't involved in the legal world and who may not have ever had to come to court may be confused that there is a division on what cases come before each chamber. So can you explain about what happens in the state court level?
Absolutely. Superior Court is a state court that has county supplement money. State court is a county court fully funded by the county. State court solely hears misdemeanors, all traffic, unless it's Dallas or Hiram, unless there is a ticket through the municipality. And then if they want a jury trial, it will get bound over to state court. So ultimately, if you want a jury trial on a traffic ticket, it will go to state court. And I hear civil cases in which I have jurisdiction over. Usually it's tort cases and credit card cases and dispossessories. There's no monetary limit in state court, but the only thing I don't hear is suits regarding land, basically, and divorces is the 2 things that I can think that I do not hear in state court.
Your time is so tight, and I just wonder what the unique experience is in running for an office of judge.
I knew this is what I wanted to do way before I got appointed. I was looking forward to Paulding County having a state court. This is the first state court. I'm the first judge in state court. From the beginning, I started this court. So the uniqueness of it really for me is it's a brand new court. I can put my stamp on it. So really, I started raising money almost immediately to support the campaign if I got opposed, and I did not get opposed, which I'm grateful for. And I look forward to serving for the next 4 years.
We've had other candidates in different positions who go unopposed, and they're a little more of a relaxed campaign. Not that you're not active, but at the fact that there has to be a little bit of a weight off your shoulder, knowing that you are unopposed and that this is something that you will be doing again continuously as you were serving in that position now. And also talk a little bit about the DUI court. I'd love for you to highlight that.
20 years I've been in law enforcement and in the criminal justice system, and I've seen the impact of DUIs. So I started out as a police officer in Marietta in 2002. I worked for the Marietta Police Department on the street level for 6 years while I went to law school. And then I was assistant district attorney in Cobb County for about 4 years. And then I was the head public defender in Paulding County for about 10 years before my appointment. So all through those jobs in those places that I held, I see the impact of DUIs. In Paulding County in particular, we get a lot of DUIs. I think we have over 25 waiting to get into DUI court. It's a post-conviction court where you can receive the benefit of help while under supervision is the best way I can explain it. We have a care treatment provider. We have a case manager. You're screened weekly. You get just a realm of things to help you overcome your addiction. And so I'm really excited about that.
I'm curious, is there an incident while you were an officer that inspired you to go to law school and go down this road as opposed to being a police officer? I just imagine there was a catalyst for that decision.
I always grew up wanting to be an FBI agent. My twin and I went to, it was a police corps back when it was a federal program, state funded. So we both were police officers. She was in Rome and I was in Marietta. And all along, I wanted to be an FBI agent. I was always told, you got to go to law school. You have to have a specialty. So I went to law school. I also watched my family. Most of my family are attorneys. And so I kind of grew up in the court system. It was always my path.
When you have a twin, is your twin still in law enforcement?
My identical twin was in law enforcement for, I think, 8 years. She was at Rome Police Department. And now she is even braver. She's a teacher, a middle school teacher.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I was going to say, if she was still in law enforcement and you were a judge, there has to be a little bit of sibling like, hey, look at me, I get to tell you what to do kind of thing.
Well, we're in different jurisdictions and she definitely wouldn't listen to me, even if I told her what to do. So,
well, congratulations on her being a school teacher, especially you said a middle school teacher, correct?
Yeah, she's been 15 years in that field now. And so she's got a lot going on, too.
Well, I'm sure that law enforcement background has made her equipped to be a middle school teacher. Well, before we go, and again, I appreciate your time, but what can the citizens of Paulding County, what do they need to know in order to make your job easier?
Well, I can say, first of all, drive safely and don't drink and drive, obviously. A big problem we have in state court, and we have a lot of old cases that were transferred down from Superior Court to state court. So a lot of things I've seen in state court too are I've had to issue bench warrants on. And a lot of people think that just because your case, you haven't heard anything on your case, it's went away. Unfortunately, throughout the court system, not just in this county, in every county, it's backed up. And so that's one thing that the state court was created for, was to relieve some of that backlog from Superior Court, really bringing people in constantly on bench warrants because they didn't show up for court. If you have a court date, keep your address updated with the clerk of court. If you think your case just went away because you haven't heard anything, it didn't 9 times out of 10. Coming to court's a big one, but obviously not having to see you in court would be the best. So if you've been drinking at all, stay off the roads.
One last question about primary elections. I know you're running unopposed, but what's the importance of people getting out and voting on May 21st or in the early voting that's going on now? Why is it important to vote locally?
Every voice counts. I've already voted. I voted the very first day. Early voting to me is so much easier than doing it on the voting day, but there are people that wait to do it on May 21st. Your voice needs to be heard. Every voice counts.
Judge O'Connor, I was about to call you Angela. I know you would take that as well. But again, I mean, you as a judge, I got to call you Judge O'Connor. Thank you so much for being part of the podcast. I would say good luck this spring, but you got it. So just good luck getting through the election season.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
A new, exciting podcast about dads for dads. Legacy Makers, a conversation for dads. Download now wherever you get your podcasts.
We're back with more of your Paulding County News Podcast.
From the Paulding Sports Chronicle, a couple of things going on in lacrosse. The Final Four tournament action. Buford beat North Paulding 15-12. But in better news, in baseball, North Paulding is going to the Final Four. Congrats to them. They're going to be playing Lowndes County on Saturday, so we'll let you know what happens next.
And finally, Star Wars fans. Yay! Let's talk about Star Wars. Star Wars fans. I am a nerd. But fans here in Atlanta had a force-filled celebration for Star Wars Day last weekend. Yes, May the 4th be with you. Obi-Wan Kenobi himself, Ewan McGregor, surprised fans at the Plaza Theater during a special screening of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I saw that was playing. Could you imagine going to this movie on Star Wars Day just to geek out? And then there's Ewan McGregor, and he participated in a Q&A session. He gifted autographed Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsabers. I mean, come on. This from WSB. And we will have final thoughts after this.
Thanks for listening to today's Paulding County News Podcast. Follow and subscribe to hear the latest news from the Paulding County News Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. For you, about you, and from you. Get involved in the conversation at 404-997-8655 or info@bgadgroup.com. Did you know over 50% of Americans listen to podcasts weekly? Make sure you join us for our next episode and be sure to share this podcast on social media with your friends and family. Add us to your Alexa Flash Briefing or your Google Home Briefing, and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
This podcast is a production of BG Ad Group. All rights reserved.
This podcast aggregate content from other sources for informational purposes and is in no way trying to infringe on the copyrights or businesses of any other entities. All content posted up on the site is used under the Fair Use Copyright Law 107. All audio, media, and articles are copyrighted to the original owners. All audio on this podcast are embedded from YouTube.com and are owned by their respective copyright owners. No audio information are copyrighted or stored on our servers. The court ruled that linking or embedding copyrighted videos is not copyright infringement, even if the source video was uploaded without permission. However, we will gladly remove any audio clip upon valid request from respective copyright owners. Any owners also have the option to disable embedding his YouTube videos on other websites. News and press articles are owned by the respective copyright owners. Where possible, the appropriate accreditation or source of the article is given on the same page. The audio-video files on the site are for listening purposes only. Downloading of these files to one's computer is strictly prohibited. They are owned by the respective copyright owners. If it is in the organization's belief that the usage or specific content used on our site containing copyrighted knowledge conflicts with authorized use and or does not comply with fair use as described in the context, contact us through our contact page and we will remove the offending content immediately. Thanks for listening to the Paulding County News Podcast.